Hello. I'd like to talk today about the kind of sentence error known as the fragment, and we can begin by giving the fragment a definition. We can say that a fragment is part of a sentence pretending to be an entire sentence. That is to say, though it may start with a capital letter and may end with a period the way a sentence does, the group of words you're looking at in certain situations may be a fragment, a part of a sentence, without necessary information that a sentence would require to be complete. Now, this pretense can lead to two problems. First, by violating the sentence pattern, the fragment confuses a reader who expects to see sentences that follow that pattern, who expect to see sentences with subjects and verbs in a particular order. Further, and maybe more important, is that the fragment works as a way of leaving out information. Because your reader is only getting part of a sentence, your reader is only getting part of that sentence's information. Something important is missing that your reader is not going to get a chance to understand. Remember that your reader knows nothing and wants to know everything, and for that reason, you should give your reader all the information that you possibly can, including in each sentence. Now, the fragment appears in two ways which roughly correspond to the two problems I mentioned a second ago. First is the fragment that is missing subject or verb or both. This is the kind of fragment you might produce when you're writing too quickly. You might see yourself writing something like, "Lemon's very pretty," which, as you can see, is missing a verb. The problem here is that your reader will suddenly be confused by this violation of the sentence pattern, this lack of a verb, or in some cases, a more ambiguous situation, leaving all the fruit on the table. This either needs a verb for the subject leaving, or a subject and a verb for the direct object, which also seems to be leaving. So you can see how the confusion might arise here. What is this sentence about? Who is leaving all the fruit on the table? Or what is the result of leaving all the fruit on the table? You don't know because the sentence, in its violation of your expectations, does not tell you. You expect to see a certain pattern. It doesn't appear. You get confused. You want to stop reading. The writer is not communicating with you. And so you see how the first kind of fragment can be a big problem. There is also a kind of fragment that appears as a dependent clause. Now, as you know, a dependent clause needs an independent clause to complete its meaning. Without an independent clause, a dependent clause doesn't really tell an entire story. However, because of the way we talk, we can easily see ourselves writing something like, "Because lemons make me cry." Now, notice also that it makes you want to get more information. When you see a dependent clause like this by itself, it makes you want to ask questions. What happens because lemons make you cry? You don't know. Because, again, this fragment does not tell you. As with the other kind of fragment, the way to fix this fragment is to add the missing information. In this case, the missing information will be the independent clause that completes the sentence, which, as you will probably remember from your look at subordination, you can put either before or after this dependent clause. You can say, "I get sad because lemons make me cry," just as easily as you can write, "Because lemons make me cry, I drink." The independent clause here works as the answer to the question that the dependent clause raises. So, I hope that watching this lecture will help you find and fix examples of the fragment in your own work. As always, I hope you'll ask me questions about anything in this lecture that doesn't make sense. And as always, thank you for your time and attention.